you being a local investor that has been involved in this for a while, you can really see these non-financial returns, and you've seen some examples of it, I assume. How can we convince people that are new to local investing that those non-financial returns, think of health, improved community, things like that, how can we convince them that those are strong enough to overcome the perhaps slight financial hit they might take, might not get as high a strict financial return as they might with some other form of investment?
Well, first of all, and I'll talk about it tonight, but the idea of the market rate of returns is a fictional one. And in fact, from where we are right now, the market returns, both for bonds and stocks, are probably going to disappoint massively. And so, people form these ideas of market rate of return usually during a period in which a bubble is formed. Maybe you get to before the explosion of the technology bubble. I was teaching CFA, and we were using market rate of return of 10% for the stock market. Right now, nobody talks about 10% stock market return because we've gone through a couple of deflation. So in other words, first of all, we have to challenge the concept that there is a market rate of return that somehow inures to capital regardless of the circumstances. In terms of local investing and how do we measure or perceive the non-financial return, let me give you just an example. There is a market in North Carolina, I think it's Asheville, the town, but I'm not completely sure, but it's called the Chatham Market. Mm-hmm. And that is a co-op that features the produce and products of hundreds of local artisans and farmers. And it's also the center of the social life of the town. If you need to meet anyone, you just go to the Chatham Market. Eventually they'll show up. Well, this market a couple of years ago was facing some challenges with refinancing a loan that a bank from out of state gave them. They had about a $400,000 loan. And the bank out of state in this case, this was after the financial crisis, maybe 2010, 2011. Banks have been kind of reining in their lending. And they basically said, we're probably not going to renew this loan. And so this beloved institution that was supporting the work and the product, this many different enterprises in town, and there was also the social center of town, risk going out of business. And so a number of investors decided to come together, form an LLC, and buy the loan from the bank and refinance it from 8.7% to 5%. Now, in that particular case, you could say, well, 5% return actually is not that bad. But the non-financial returns are so obvious in that case. I mean, this particular beloved marketplace could have gone under. And maybe they would have had no co-op market in town. Maybe Walmart might have come in. But there are many other instances. I made a loan to a farmer. They went through some difficult times. They had to restructure the business. And at the end, they emerged and they ended up paying off their loan, a couple of years later. But the non-financial benefits to me are knowing that this small family farm is still in existence, that the patient that I and a number of other slow money investors afforded to them allow them to go through that hard time, the personal connection with the farmer, and access to the great produce and products that they still create.